Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is our last topic for Islamic accounting subject with me before the midterm. So we'll be discussing further about the Islamic financial instrument in the form of joint partnership or investing activities. Yeah. So previously we've discussed Musyarakah, Mudarabah, yeah, in which one person or entity contribute the fund and another entity manage that fund. Yeah? And today we'll be discussing about another form of investment-based Islamic financial instrument, which is Musyarakah. So Musyarakah, if we look at the terminology, in the past, the term Musyarakah was commonly used as shirkah or syarikah, yeah? Or when it reached Indonesia and Aceh, we call it serikat, yeah? So it's coming from that word, basically, shirkah, syarikah. Yeah? And only more recently, since the development of Islamic financial institution in the modern world, the term Musyarakah is more commonly used instead of shirkah or syarikah. Yeah? So the root word of shirkah means ikhtilat. Ikhtilat means the commingling, the commingle, mixing. Yeah? Ikhtilat, let's say in the daily life, the non-mahram woman and man are not allowed to commit ikhtilat. Ikhtilat means they are being together when they don't have a valid relationship. Yeah? So that is the meaning of ikhtilat, basically mixing together. Yeah? So when we interpret in a more comprehensive definition, the term shirkah or musyarakah is basically commingling by two or more persons, either their capital or money or fund or work or obligations to earn a profit or a benefit in value, and they will share the loss according to their capital proportion. Yeah? So mixing two or more people, and they will contribute different form of object of the contract. It can be the fund, it can be the work, it can be reputation, yeah, good name, yeah, to create a joint venture, and they would share the profit according to the agreed profit sharing ratio, and they would share the loss based on the capital proportion. Yeah? So what unique from the Islamic perspective, whenever there is a loss, it's always based on capital contribution. Yeah? That's why you notice in Mudarabah, only the capital contributor is bearing the financial loss, yeah? Not the manager of the fund, because the manager of the fund doesn't contribute any capital. Eh? Okay? So the same thing with Musyarakah. If one person contribute 30% of capital, another person contributes 70% of capital, so they would share the financial loss based on that 30%, 70% proportion. Yeah? Okay. Meanwhile, the profit, we can agree on other percentage or other profit sharing ratio. Yeah? It's not supposed to be based on the capital contribution, but it can also be allowed that the profit sharing is based on the capital contribution. So basically, profit sharing ratio is more flexible, versatile. Yeah? It can be based on capital contribution. It can be based on other consideration. Let's say one partner is doing more work. Yeah. So everyone agrees that that partner will be given more profit share. Yeah? So it depends. But when it comes to the financial loss, it will be always based on the capital contribution. Yeah? Okay, so shirka or musyarakah, it has several types. Yeah? We can classify it as first shirkatul milk. Milku means ownership. Yeah? Okay, shirkatul milk, when people are sharing the ownership of certain property or any wealth. Yeah? It can be optional. It can be also the forced one. Yeah? What does it mean by optional? Yeah, or ikhtiyariyah, yeah, we call it. Sukarela or voluntary. Yeah? Meanwhile, the forced one is jabbariyah or involuntarily. Yeah? Tidak sukarela or terpaksa. Yeah? Okay. So let's say there is an inheritance, yeah? Inheritance from the parents, and the children agree to maintain the common ownership. Yeah? They share the ownership towards certain property, let's say the house of the parents. Yeah? So they have the optional to share the ownership of the house. Yeah? That's the example of shirkatul milk with optional. Yeah? Meanwhile, if it is jabbariyah or forced one, yeah? Let's say an inheritance, yeah, from the parents for the children, and they are not agreed on sharing that ownership. Yeah? So they have to wait for the ruling of the court or mahkamah later on to distribute the ownership of the property given by the parents. Yeah? So they are forced, yeah? They have to be in that form of ownership, yeah? Shirkatul milk, sharing the ownership. Yeah? They are not willing to be sharing the ownership. So that's why later on it needs to be distributed, the ownership of such property. Yeah? Okay. And we see another major classification of shirka, which is shirkatul aqad, yeah, or shirkatul uqud, yeah, or contractual partnership. Yeah? Means the partnership is built upon the contract, yeah? Certain contract, yeah? Or agreement. Yeah? So, for example, shirkatul amwal, yeah? Which is partnership with capital. Yeah? So everyone contributes the capital. Yeah? And it could be partnership in work. Yeah? Let's say like profession, accountant, lawyers, medical practitioners. Yeah? They are partnership in works. Yeah? They may not contribute the capital, but they are playing the professional roles in their own career capacity. Yeah? Okay, another type, shirkatul wujuh or reputational partnership, is actually the partnership is built upon the good name, yeah, or reputation. Yeah? For example, we have the partnership in trading activities. We don't use the capital, but because we have the good name, the supplier has trust in us that they would distribute the goods to us without us paying first. Yeah? So that partnership is built upon the reputation or good name. Yeah? Okay. Okay, shirkatul amal or partnership in work sometimes is called as shirkah abadan, yeah? Or physical shirkah, yeah? Or shirkatul sana'i, sana means building, yeah? Or the person who constructs something. Yeah? Okay? Okay, we have another types of syirkatul uqud like syirkah mufawwadah, which means that the partnership must be built upon the same proportion of sharing among the partners. Yeah? So the same capital contribution among the partners, the same work contribution, etc. Yeah? Okay. Okay, you can read further on other types of syirkah, but we focus on the major types of syirkah. Yeah? Okay, if we base on Islamic Sharia financial accounting standards of Indonesia, even AOFI or accounting and auditing for Islamic financial institutions, their financial accounting standard for Islamic financial institution also classifies musyarakah into two types, seeing from other perspective, which is the permanent musyarakah and diminishing musyarakah. So permanent musyarakah is basically partnership which is permanent in nature. Yeah? So throughout the contract period, the same capital contribution will be applied throughout the period. Nothing is changed. Yeah? So that's why it's called as permanent one. Yeah? So if partner A contributes 50%, partner B contributes 20%, partner C contributes 30%, throughout the contract period, that capital proportion will stay the same. Yeah, it will be permanent or constant. Yeah? Meanwhile, the diminishing or declining musyarakah, over the time period of contract, one partner will buy the share of other partner, yeah, until the ownership of another partner is being transferred to the partner who buys the share. Yeah? So it's gradually transferred. Yeah? Next year, let's say from year one, partner A 50%, partner B 50%. Year two, partner A will buy or acquire additional 10% from partner B. So partner A's capital contribution becomes 60%. Partner B has been reduced to 40%. So until the end of the period, partner A will become the single owner of that business venture. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we look at Sharia stipulation for mudarabah. The pillars are like for mudarabah. Sorry, it has been changed. It has not been changed. It's supposed to be for musyarakah. But the same concept of pillars basically. So we have partners, yeah, the one who contributes the capital, the work, etc. Yeah? It's not the term of Rabul Ma and Mudarib here, but we call it as partners, yeah, or mitra, yeah, in Indonesia. Okay, and we have the musyarakah object, which is the capital or work, and ijab kabul or the consent of offer and acceptance by all the partners involved, and the profit sharing ratio. Yeah? Okay, similarly to mudarabah, musyarakah capital can be in the form of cash or in kind. Yeah? And the value must be agreed. How much will be contributed by this partner? How much will be contributed by another partner? Yeah? Okay, if the partners contribute different types of currencies, then it should be converted into the currency of syirkah. Yeah? Let's say the business venture is performed in Bahrain. Yeah? So, and there are investors from Indonesia, from the United States. Yeah? So Indonesia and United States currency needs to be converted to the currency of syirkah, which is done in Bahrain. Yeah? Yeah? And the capital should be under the disposal of the manager. Yeah? So the capital will be contributed and the manager has the right to dispose the capital or utilize the capital. Yeah? And the same principle as mudarabah, the debt cannot be the contribution in the shirkah. Yeah? And different partners can contribute different amount of capital. Yeah? So how the management of partnership under Musyarakah, basically each partner has right of Musyarakah management, yeah, because different from Mudarabah where the capital provider has no right to interfere in the management of business by the manager of the fund. In Musyarakah, because everyone contributes the capital, yeah, or the work, yeah, so basically, each partner has the right of musyarakah management. Yeah? And the partners may agree to appoint a managing partner, yeah? Someone to manage the whole fund. Let's say there is partner A, B, C. They may agree who will manage the fund, who will manage the business. Yeah? Okay. And some may agree also not to do the work, means they become the sleeping partner. They just contribute the capital, but they are not getting involved in the management of the partnership. Yeah. Okay, because the elimination of riba is very important in Islamic financial transaction. So it is not allowed to specify a fixed remuneration, yeah, or a fixed salary to a partner of musyarakah who manage the fund. Yeah? Okay? But we can give that partner a greater share of profit, yeah, rather than he would receive on solely on the basis of his share in capital contribution. Yeah? But we can hire or we can get the worker, yeah, to work in that business venture, and we give him the fixed salary. Yeah, so it is basically based on the job. Yeah, it's not anymore based on the investment partnership. Yeah, for the partner, we cannot give a fixed remuneration, but if we appoint someone else to work in the business venture, then we can pay the fixed remuneration or salary for that person. Yeah? Okay. And the profit sharing ratio, it must be decided in the beginning of the contract. Yeah? As the principle for mudarabah as well, the profit must be allocated in percentage, yeah? Not in the absolute amount of money. Because we cannot promise a fixed amount of money as a return, but it must be in the term of percentage of the profit. Yeah. Okay. Okay. A sleeping partner cannot share in the profit more than the percentage of his capital because he does not get involved. He does not contribute beyond the capital contribution. Yeah. Okay, as we have mentioned in the beginning, that loss is supposed to be shared based on the capital contribution. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Talking about guarantee, yeah, jaminan, yeah, whether it can be practiced or not in Islamic financial transaction. Okay. In principle, guarantee from one partner to another, to other partners' profit or capital is not allowed. Yeah? Means you cannot promise that, let's say partner A will promise to partner B that he will get his fixed amount of profit, or he will get surely that he will get the return of his capital. Yeah? There is no such thing. We cannot guarantee on that. Yeah? But what can be done is a security can be given, yeah? In the event of misconduct or negligence. Yeah? So a third party may provide a guarantee, yeah? To make up losses for one of all partners. This one using the insurance, yeah, the Islamic insurance, yeah. Security, what does it mean? Maybe one of the partner will provide a property like his house as a security, yeah, in case that he commit the negligence. Let's say he is the manager of the shirkah, yeah, and he provides his house as a security in any case if he misconduct or negligence. Okay, when is the musyarakah will be ended? Likewise with the mudarabah, whenever one of the parties withdraws from the contract, then the musyarakah will be terminated. Or one of the parties pass away, yeah, and there is no such thing as wasiat from that party to his heirs, waris, to continue the project. So by the passing away of that party, then musyarakah can be ended. Or the breach of contract by one of the parties, yeah, let's say one party misutilized the fund, etc. Yeah? So it can be terminated. Yeah? Or when there is no more capital, means it has been lost continuously. So if there is no more capital, then it is assumed that musyarakah is terminated. Yeah? Okay, accounting treatments for musyarakah based on Indonesian Sharia financial accounting standard is similar to mudarabah. Yeah? But in this case, because everyone contributes the capital, so we must record for each partner, and then one record is for the business venture itself. Yeah? Previously in mudarabah, because one person only contribute the capital, another person manage the capital, so we just assume that the business ventures record is the same like for the person who manage the fund, yeah, or the mudarib. Yeah? Okay, so this is still in Indonesia, but basically whenever there is a new contract is established, so we will record the form of investment by each partner. Let's say partner A invests 75. In this case, because in the form of asset or non-cash asset, then we need to identify the fair value. Yeah? Yeah? And if there is a difference between the fair value and the book value of the asset, then we need to identify the loss or the gain on asset valuation. Yeah? And it will be amortized over the periods of the contract. Yeah? So the same like in mudarabah. Yeah? So let's say if partner B contributes money, then we record musyarakah investment, how much he contribute, yeah, debit musyarakah investment and credit cash. Yeah? For the perusahaan bentukan or the business venture itself, we will record like the one we recorded in mudarabah, because we receive, let's say we receive cash, then we debit cash. If we receive non-cash asset, then we debit non-cash asset and we credit the temporary syirkah fund, yeah, or dana syirkah temporer. Yeah? And the recording of expenses and revenue is the same like what you have been learning in the conventional accounting practice. Yeah. Okay, I want to highlight a little bit about the difference between mudarabah and musyarakah. Yeah? So if you notice, in terms of capital contribution, if mudarabah, it only comes from the rabbul mal, yeah, one person only, or one entity, yeah? Which is the investors. Yeah? Meanwhile, musyarakah, the capital contribution comes from all partners. Yeah? And it could be in the form of cash, services, reputation, etc. Yeah? Okay, under mudarabah, the mudarib or fund manager will only manage the business. Meanwhile, musyarakah, everyone has the same right in the management of the business. Yeah? So basically, doing it jointly or together, yeah, in musyarakah. Yeah? Okay. Okay, in Mudarabah, the Mudarib can also invest in the capital of Mudarabah. Mudarib is fund manager. They can later on invest, then it becomes a Mudarabah Musyarakah, yeah, which is the combination of Mudarabah and Musyarakah. Yeah? Okay, in Musyarakah, one partner or some partners may be sleeping partners. Yeah? They may not join the management of the business. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I have shared with you the module on Mudarabah and Musyarakah. You try to learn because you are at the advanced level of accounting already. So I believe you can try to explore the details of accounting treatment for Musyarakah and Mudarabah. Okay. And I want you to do for 50% of midterm, I want you to develop an illustrative case, yeah, of either Mudarabah or Musyarakah. You can choose between two. Yeah, let's say you want to do an illustrative case of Mudarabah. Let's say you want to develop a case on the business of clothing, for example, yeah? Or the business of food. Yeah, just try to write your own illustration. Let's say Raisa is agreeing to have a Mudarabah investment with Jasha, for example, to for the business of food and beverage, yeah, and Raisa contributes blah 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 blah, Jasha, and then you will mention also what is the profit later on, yeah. So illustrative cases, and that one I will grade it as a 50% mark of the midterm, yeah. Meanwhile, another 50% will be oral examination, in which I will ask maybe 1 or 2 questions on the concept. So we won't talk about the technical aspect anymore. Okay. So I hope you get the concepts of my lecture for today. And if you have any question, feel free to ask. You can call, you can WhatsApp me, etc. You can come also to my office. Okay, see you. All the best. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.